If you are interested in Surratt, then you are in luck, my friend, because in this video today, I'm going to be giving you my completely honest review on almost every single product that the brand sells. And this isn't going to be like a full face of first impressions video. I've been testing out these products for about 5 or 6 months now. I definitely have some favorites, some holy grails in my collection that I can't wait to share with you. And then there are also some products that I probably wouldn't repurchase myself, and I'm going to share that with you guys as well. The pros, the cons, my favorites, my fails, we're all going to be getting into it today. This video is completely unsponsored. However, for transparency, I do just want to call out that a couple of the products that will be included in this video were kindly gifted to me by the brand. So thank you so much, Surratt, for gifting them to me so I could include them in this video so I could review as many products as possible for this brand review. And then the final thing that I want to mention, friends, okay, a very important one before we get started, is that Surratt has also kindly given me a coupon code for you all. You can save 15% off site-wide with the code SOFIA15. So I'll be listing that down below, along with links to all the products that I mentioned today and the shades that I demo. Let's get into it. Quick little overview of Surratt just to kick things off in case this is the very first time that you're hearing about this brand. Surratt is a luxury beauty brand that was founded by celebrity makeup artist Troy Surratt, and the packaging, the aesthetic, the overall vibe of the brand is definitely very streamlined, very modern, very minimal. It does have that kind of pro makeup artist type of feel, but don't get me wrong, the products are very easy to use. Anybody can use these products. The brand is based in New York, but the aesthetic of makeup and the formulations are definitely inspired by Japanese makeup. And if you've ever used Japanese makeup before, you will know that it's a little bit more about elevating your natural beauty. It's a softer look. It's definitely more neutral. So just kind of keep that in mind as I'm showing you the products today. This style of makeup, it's more about the ingenuity of the formulation as opposed to maybe like a really cool color story. But it's a very interesting brand to take a look at because especially here in the US, you know, if you're like me and you shop at Sephora, Ulta, Nordstrom, these formulas are actually quite unique, and there's a lot of favorites that I have to show you today. The products I'm reviewing today, they're not going to be mentioned in any particular order, but I have grouped them into categories. And I actually want to start off with what is kind of like a more boring category, but it is my favorite category when it comes to this brand. So I thought we would start off strong, okay? And that category is mascaras. These are some of the best mascaras that I have ever used. The first one that I want to show you here, this is one of their older styles of mascara. This is the Releve mascara. This retails for $34. This is gonna give you the most beautiful, long, fluttery lashes that you have ever had. Now, the wand is my favorite style of wand. It's kind of thin, skinny, and tapered. So especially, you know, if you have smaller lashes, this is gonna get every single lash that you have. It's great for your bottom lashes as well. This is going to be more of like a tubing formula, and it's also one of those mascaras that has those teeny tiny little fibers so that when you rake it through your lashes, you just get a little bit of extra length thanks to those fibers. Take a look at this before and after. It is such a lovely mascara. It gives you that kind of separated, long, fluffy lash effect without any clumping, and you definitely can build this up if you want a little bit of volume as well. The last thing that I really love about this mascara is that it is very, very long lasting. If you are new here, I live in Texas, okay? It gets very, very hot here. I've worn this so many times outside in like 90-something degree heat, and this baby does not budge. This has become one of my favorite mascaras of all time. If you like a lot of length, if you like a lot of kind of natural separation with a little bit of volume and a lot of longevity, then I highly recommend this. Okay, now for something a little bit different. This is the Noir Lash Tint. Now, this one retails for $54. I know. It's very expensive. It's a luxury brand. I don't know why this one is so much more expensive than the Releve mascara. That being said, I purchased this full price from the website, and I would definitely repurchase it again because it is just as good as the Releve mascara. It is different, however. This one is going to be more natural. Not as lengthening, not as volumizing, and it's pretty cool because this wand does not have a brush. It's just a metal rod with little grooves at the end. The grooves capture the pigment when you pull it out of the tube, and then you just run the little metal rod across your lashes. And I don't know, friends, but it works, okay? It gives you the most beautiful natural, light, fluttery lashes, if you truly want that, like, I was born with this type of vibe, that no makeup type of look, this is gonna be a really good mascara for that. I don't have anything like this in my collection. I don't have any other mascaras that don't have a brush. The other thing that's interesting about this is that this one is even more long wearing than the Releve mascara. I would even go so far as to say that this is like waterproof, water resistant. It's not a tubing formula. The Releve mascara is gonna just slide right off your lashes as soon as you hit it with warm water when you're washing your face at the end of the day. This is not gonna be like that. When I first tested it, I actually put it on my lashes. I went into the hot steamy shower, I got out, and it was still on my lashes. And like, I washed my face and everything. It doesn't come off unless you use makeup remover. It's not waterproof mascara, because waterproof mascara is, at least in my experience, truly difficult to remove. It comes off easily with like an oil-based makeup remover, but other than that, it's staying on your lashes. Like sweat, no problem. If you're like by the pool, this would be a perfect like poolside mascara. Maybe you want to look a little bit cute. You don't want people to know you have makeup on, you pop this on. It's good for all of those occasions, and I can't say that I have any other mascaras that do the same. So I wanted to start off strong, guys. These are two of my absolute favorites from the brand. And if you happen to be enjoying this video, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. It really helps me out. And if you are new here, welcome. My name is Sophia, and this is my channel that is all about having fun with luxury beauty. I do a lot of new makeup reviews, brand reviews, and guides just like this one, and we have a lot of fun discussions about the luxury beauty industry. So if that interests you, hit that subscribe button to join our fam. We seriously would love to have you. I upload new videos every single week, and with that, let's get on to the rest of this brand review. I want to take a quick break from the makeup and chat about the makeup brushes from Surratt, because I am going to be using these in a bunch of the demos, so we might as well talk about them now. I do think that the makeup brushes are some of the best products that they make. They are very expensive, and it is because they are hand bundled in Japan, made from premium materials. And I will say, I do think that they are just as good as like the Sonia G, the Wayne Goss, the Chikuhodo, the Koyudo. If you are new here, I review a lot of makeup brushes here in this channel, a lot of luxury makeup brushes, and these are very good quality. Like, these can last you a lifetime. I will say, however, they are very expensive, even compared to some of those other brands. So my recommendation would be, even though I do really like them, I would probably wait for a sale. I would probably wait for a sale, or I would use my 15% off coupon code. Anything to get like a little bit of a discount on these. Once you get them, you got them. Like, they're going to last, but they are pretty expensive, okay? They are an investment. The first brush that I have right here is the Artistique Sculpting Brush. This retails for $125. Like I said, very expensive. This is gonna be a mixture of gray squirrel and goat hair, so you kind of get that softness from the gray squirrel, but then you have a little bit more of like a workhorse brush because you have the goat hair in there. Great for picking up product, great for really buffing it across the face. This is gonna have a nice angled shape, which makes it perfect for applying blush. That's how I usually use this. But because it's angled, you could also easily use this for contour and also for highlighter. I do real quick want to give you guys an example of what I mean in terms of the price, however. Right here I have the Chikuhodo. This is the F4 cheek brush. It's kind of like a similar shape. It's a little bit bigger. This one retails for $125 and this one retails for $65. This could be a higher grade fiber. I'm not really sure, but this is Silver Fox. This is like one of the most premium fibers that you can buy, and it's about half the price. So that's what I mean about price. Like, I think they're a little bit overpriced, even though they're good. So I would definitely wait for a sale when it comes to the brushes. If you want some more brush recommendations, by the way, I have like a whole playlist on my favorite brushes by bristle type, favorite brushes for certain makeup products. So once again, I will link that playlist down below. Next up, I got the Perfectioniste Complexion Brush. Now this retails for $75. This is going to be kind of like a medium size, very flat sable hair brush. And sable hair is really good for cream products. So this is going to be great for little touch-ups around the face. I really like to use this for like sculpting my eyebrows. Yes, I still do that because my eyebrows are always getting out of place and I do have some discoloration. So this is my go-to brush. I know it sounds very mundane, but I literally use this every day. I love this brush. I use this to just kind of like get that little snatched look along the brow, but I also like to use this around the lips to kind of clean up the lip line, to kind of clean up the wing of my eyeshadow if I, made like a little mistake or something. It's perfect for those little like fine tuning adjustments. I also got the Artistique Smoky Eye Brush Moyenne. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. I think that means medium. This retails for $68. I had to get this one because it has the most interesting like candlestick shape. It's made from squirrel hair as well, so it is super duper soft on the eye. I will say, however, even though this is a very unique brush, I still don't really understand it. It's still a little bit too floppy for my liking. You'll see in the demo, I just don't feel like I get a lot of control from this brush. The tip is just so floppy. I don't really get a lot of control. What I would prefer, what I would recommend instead would be the Wayne Goss. I believe it's the E4. I prefer that. It's kind of like a similar shape, but it's a little bit denser, so I get more control and blendability. And lastly, I have the Artistique Classique Shadow Brush in the medium size. This one retails for $54, and it is made with Canadian squirrel. So you're gonna get that softness because it's squirrel hair. The Canadian squirrel does tend to be like a little bit more durable, picks up more product. This is a really nice kind of classic shader brush. Again, it's very expensive, but it is really nice. It's very soft. If you have delicate skin around your eyes, which most of us do, if you have mature skin, I think you're really gonna like something like this because it's gonna be super, super soft and delicate on the skin. Okay, now let's talk about eyeshadow. I'm gonna lump all the eyeshadows together into this one section. The first eyeshadows that I wanna talk about are, I think they're newest ones. These are called the Soufflé eyeshadows, and these retail for $48 each. Now, this is the only product in this video that I actually don't have because I returned the two that I purchased, but I do have some footage of me using these. I'll just get to the chase, friends. Okay, a lot of you guys already know this. I don't like these at all. I really, really don't. Let me explain to you what these are first. They are a single eyeshadow, a single cream eyeshadow, and they have this very unique kind of jellyish whipped souffle type of texture. It's really cool, and I do have to hand it to Surratt for coming to the table with something a little bit new, something a little bit ingenious and innovative. Absolutely love that. However, these just didn't really work out for me. First off, you guys will see they are very sheer. However, that's not really what bothers me about these. They're gonna give you a very sheer pigmentation across the eye, and then it's going to dry down. The thing that I don't like about these is that they just crease so badly. At least they do on my eyes. Although I like the way that they look when I first put them on, they just don't last very long. And it'd be one thing if they crease, by the end of the day, but like they crease within an hour. So for the $48, I just don't feel personally that these are worth the price. Next up, we have the prismatic eyes. Now these retail for $58 each, but I will say you do get a 2-in-1. I love these. I think they're so pretty. Basically what you get here is like a cream pomade in this section of the eyeshadow, and then in the other section you kind of just slide it open and you get this beautiful shimmery popper shade. These are my favorite kind of like cream and powder eyeshadow duos that I've ever tried. I know Tom Ford has a product, or used to have a product, that was similar to this. I didn't really enjoy those. I don't really like the Charlotte Tilbury potted shadows also, for example. I just feel like the cream part of those shadows is a little bit too liquidy and moussey, and I feel like I don't have a lot of control over it. What I really like about these is that the cream part, it's more of a pomade. It has a drier texture. I usually like to take a little brush, I sort of warm up the pomade, get a little bunch of it onto my brush, and then you can just do a really beautiful, soft, diffuse one and done layer across the lid. Then you go in with the beautiful, sparkly shimmer topper shade, and it just transforms the entire look. It's a full look with just these two little products in one. Very convenient. I know it's very expensive, but I do really like this formula. The shimmer shade, it's just so glimmering and gorgeous. They gifted me this one, the Neutral Eyes, which is like the brown tone one. And I liked it so much, I went to the site and I actually bought myself the green one, which is called mesmerized. These are so beautiful. And by the way, as well, they're very long lasting. They do not crease because it's like a drier formula. It's almost like putting a primer on your eye that's pigmented and then layering this like gorgeous sparkly goodness on top. Very sophisticated. These are also one of my favorites from the brand. Next up, we have the lid lacquers. These retail for $36, and these are single eyeshadows that are supposed to give you kind of like that shiny editorial type of eye that you see in print magazines. This is actually, believe it or not, I think it's the first product that I ever tried from the brand. I'm pretty sure they used to be sold at Sephora here in the United States. And at one of the Sephora sales, I remember picking up a couple of these, thinking these were gonna be the coolest thing, and I was gonna wear these and I was gonna look so cool and editorial. But to be honest, friends, I like literally never reached for these because they're just not very practical, okay? They look really nice on the eye. The color that I have here is called Hadaka, and I actually really like the tone of this on me. I think it looks beautiful, but they just don't have any longevity. They kind of fade, they crease. I guess you could layer something on top, but it's not gonna have the same longevity as the prismatic eyes, for example. It's better to just invest in one of those in a color that you really like than get one of these. I just don't see that many of my subscribers wanting to get like a shiny, dewy, editorial type of eye. I'm sure some of you are out there, but this just like isn't really my aesthetic. I really want something that's gonna stay put all day. I just don't enjoy any creasing. So this is a no for me. We're gonna get to the eyeshadow palettes in just a second, I promise. But before we do that, we gotta talk about the Smoky Eye Baton. These retail for $38, and just like the prismatic eyes, this is gonna be a two-in-one type of situation. So on this end of the component, you're going to get this soft and smudgy eyeliner, okay? And then on this end of the component, you twist it open like so, and you get this little sponge tip applicator that picks up a powder eyeshadow formula that is housed in this half of the component, okay? So like when you're twisting it, it's like picking up more pigment, and then you can apply it to the eye. So this is supposed to give you like that perfect, easy, two-in-one kind of smoky eye. I like this, I do, but I have a couple of tips for you guys. This is actually what I'm wearing on my eyes today. I'm wearing the shade The Per Mauve. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's the purple one, okay? I like purple for brown eyes. It's a beautiful color. I was reading the reviews on the Surratt website, and while I will say that most of the reviews are 5 stars, this is like one of their most popular products. The people that said they didn't like it did complain that this transfers immediately. And so I want to call out the fact that this liner, like the liner portion, it is a softer formula. It's going to be more like the Victoria Beckham satin eye casuals. It's something that is designed to be smudged. It's not going to be like an ultra graphic liner, although you can see I did do like more of a smoky wing in this look today. My tip for you, if you're going to purchase this, is to number one, put like a base color down or some powder. Just set your eye before you go in with this, and then do the liner, and then use the powder to set the liner, and then you're gonna get a lot of longevity. You're gonna be able to use the little spongy to just kind of go over and smudge it out to your liking. Sometimes I will take another brush, like I'm not gonna lie, I'll take another brush and I might get a little bit more pigment and kind of use that to put it in the crease and kind of create my own custom look. But in general, I do really like these, and I do think I'm going to pick up at least one more color. Okay, now we're gonna talk about the Artistique eyeshadow. This is Surratt powder eyeshadow formula. You can purchase these shadows as singles starting at $22. You can also purchase the eyeshadow quads like this one right here for $102, or depending on how big of a palette you build, you can build your own custom palette, which is pretty cool. And I'm gonna sort of go through the pros and cons of each of these, but let me just back up a second and talk about the formula of these eyeshadows. The formula is very beautiful, very luxurious. It's very soft, elegant, airbrushed. If you like kind of Chanel style of makeup, I think you're really gonna like these. If you've ever tried Suku, for example, that's another Japanese brand, I think you're going to like these. It's kind of a similar vibe, although I will say the color selection from Surratt is a lot more neutral and basic. The formula of these shadows does have a lot of emulsion emollients in it. So it has a very finely milled, silky type of feel, but it's not like dry and dusty. You get a little bit of butteriness in there so that it doesn't look dry on your eyes. It's incredibly flattering if, like me, if you have dry eyelids or maybe more mature skin, this is gonna be incredibly flattering. So the formula gets a big thumbs up from me. There is a but, okay? There's a couple of things that I wanna make you aware of before you run out and purchase these. The first thing is that when you purchase these shadows as a single shadow, okay, they start at $22. They're not gonna come in a component like if you were to purchase a Chanel single shadow, for example. They're gonna come like this. Now, this is a blush, but just imagine this is like half the size as an eyeshadow. It's gonna come in this little like cheapy plastic type of packaging, because I think with Surratt, they really want to encourage you to make your own custom palette. So when you buy the singles of the blushes, which we're going to talk about in a second, of the blushes and the eyeshadows, they don't come in super nice packaging. And personally, I rather just pay a couple of extra dollars or have like the option to on the site to get an actual component to house this in, because I don't know, I just don't really like this. It feels cheap. It doesn't feel luxury to me. And it really kind of turned me off when I first ordered from the brand. I still enjoyed the products, but I was kind of like, not really sure that I like that, okay? Now with the curated palettes, these can be very nice, but they are very expensive. They're $102. I just feel like that's really, really expensive for what you're getting. I kind of feel the same way about these as I do about the brushes, where it's like, yeah, you are getting really, really good quality, but it's very expensive and you might be able to get something similar somewhere else. For example, the Suku quads, they're about half the price. I think they're like $65 and these are $102. I think that the formulas are very similar, and I think that the color stories from Suku are just a little bit more inventive and novel. If you're looking for something, and that's the other thing, actually. I'm gonna finish that thought and then we're gonna get to this in just a second, I promise. What I was saying is that if you want something that's like very, very natural and neutral, take a look at the Suku formula. But I do think that you can get kind of like more fun color stories and a similar formula at about half of the price point from other brands. Okay, now the next thing I wanted to say, which you actually just saw in action right there, is that when you get these single shadows and you put them in a palette, or when you buy the palette like this, they stick in the palette with a little piece of adhesive. See it right there? What I'm finding here, I don't know if it's because it's summertime or something like that and everything's just falling apart, I don't really know, but I tend to hold the palettes up when I'm doing demos or when I'm using them, and they fall out. They fall out, okay? When I first ordered these, I was thinking that they were gonna click into the palette, and then I was like, well, I gotta like take this little adhesive off. It's stuck in there with adhesive. Now, earlier today, this shade fell out, and I stuck it back in with a little bit of nail glue on the back, and it's fine, okay? Like, whatever. But if I'm paying $102 for an eyeshadow palette, these should not fall out. They shouldn't fall out. Like, I would never get that from like a Tom Ford or an Hermes shadow. So I'm gonna put this one aside. I'm gonna fix that later, okay? And by the way, this is the Beyond Beige palette. I'll show you a quick little demo of what this one looks like. This one is nice if you want something super, super neutral. It's not my favorite neutral palette of all time. I think if you have like, YSL Store Dolls or Tom Ford New Dip, anything like that, I don't think you necessarily need this, but if you wanna try Surratt and you want something neutral, this would be a good one to pick up. I also have Les Roses, which I will say, you'll see the look here in the demo. It does look absolutely gorgeous. I thought I would like this palette a little bit more than I do. I think the thing that I don't really like about it is the topper shade. It's just not as smooth and effortless as I would want, but I do really like the other shades in the palette. And once I'm done, I'm like, does look really soft, really elegant and beautiful, and I do think a lot of my subscribers will like this palette. But anyway, okay, we're moving on to my last point here. We talked about the eyeshadow singles falling out of the pans and all that kind of stuff. All of this brings me to say, okay, I know this is like quite the saga, stick with me, friends. All that is to say is if you're gonna buy one of these things, I actually wouldn't buy the singles. I actually wouldn't buy any of these curated palettes. I would make my own palette. And yes, it's a little bit more expensive to do so, but I think if you're gonna spend the money, just make exactly what you want. Like, look at this cute little basic palette that I made with these little soft eyeshadows. And then, by the way, I use the blush and the highlighter as an eyeshadow as well. So if you're gonna do anything, make your own quad. There's so many like nice neutral shadows to play around with. Make like your perfect everyday quad, because the shadows are really beautiful. They are really good quality, and they probably are pretty different than other ones that you may see from other brands, at least ones that I have in my collection. So I do think that the eyeshadows are worth it. I think to kind of get your money's worth, because it's a little bit of an investment, wait until there's a sale or use my coupon code and build exactly what you think you're gonna use on a regular basis. Moving along to, you guessed it, the Artistique blush and highlighters. Now these each retail for $32, and these are just as lovely as the eyeshadows. Very similar formula, pretty much the same thing, except it's for the cheeks. Very silky, beautiful. A lot of people rave about the Surratt blushes, and the hype is real. They are really gorgeous, and they have so many good, like, basic but delicious neutral shades. The one that I put in my custom palette right here is called Rosé du Soir. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, and it is described as a satin coppery rose. I love this blush. It's so beautiful. If you do build your custom palette, I highly recommend this one. I would even consider building just a palette of 3 blushes. I think a lot of you would really enjoy that. Just 3 like deliciously neutral blushes, or maybe 2 neutral ones and one that's like a pop of color. Oh, so good. Maybe I'll do that one next. The highlighter as well. This is lovely. Very soft, very natural. Again, it's not like a see it from space highlighter. The one that I have right here is called Aureole. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that okay. It is described as a sheer champagne, and I like to use that as well as a eyeshadow on my eyes. When I'm using this palette, I just kind of dip into all of the shades. So I do think that the blushes and the highlighter also really good, but they do have kind of like the same considerations as the eyeshadows, where if you buy them as a single, this one, which is called Cantaloupe, which is also really pretty. It's like a little, well, it's like a melon color, a cantaloupe color. It's gonna come in this type of packaging, and similarly, when you get them, it's gonna have like the adhesive on the back. If you are subscribed to my channel, then you already know that I recently posted a best luxury bronzers video, and in that video, I talked about this bronzer, the Surratt Artistique bronzer, and the shade that I have here is in the shade Soleil Dew. This is another one of my top picks from the brand. If there's anything that you're gonna buy today, this is gonna be one of the things that you wanna pay attention to. Just like the blushes, the highlighter, the eyeshadows, all the powder products are incredibly silky. And then, like I said, they have a little bit of that creamy touch. And I just feel like, especially with a bronzer, this is the kind of thing that I get the most use out of. This is the thing that's going all over my face to set my foundation. You need the right shade. You need the right shade. And if you find the right shade in the right formula, that really is something that you can use every day. It's a $68 price point. It is expensive, but it's in line with other luxury bronzers, and I really do think that this formula is very elegant, beautiful, and unique. Doesn't emphasize any texture. I have dry skin, so I do appreciate the fact that it has a little bit of like that buttery feel and look on the skin. The only thing that I don't like about this is that there's only 2 shades, and both of the shades, like, they're not that far off. Soleil Dew is supposed to have a neutral undertone, and then the other one has a warmer or like redder undertone. And I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like we need more, okay? This is a New York brand. I know it's inspired by Japanese makeup, but I just feel like today we need more than 2 shades. So that's my only complaint, Surratt, if you're watching. Really, really good product. Just wish we could, expand the shade range a little bit. Now I'm gonna move on to the liquid blushes and highlighters, starting off with the Artistique liquid blushes. These retail for $45, and they're gonna come in one of these like twist up components. So you click up the product and then it just comes out of this little like spongy tip, and then you can sponge it onto your face. They're very easy to use. This is going to be a gel formula, so it does give a really beautiful kind of dewy but not greasy effect to the face, and it's going to give you like that kind of sheer watercolor type of effect. They look very, very beautiful, and I do know a lot of you guys like these. If I were to be critical, however, I will say these aren't my favorite liquid blush. I definitely appreciate the sheer wash of color. It's not the fact that these don't really have much pigment. It's more of the fact that I apply them and then I feel like when I'm done my makeup, I don't really see the blush anymore. I feel like they fade a lot and I have to kind of continuously like build them up, build them up, build them up. They really don't last that long. If you really like something super subtle and super natural, then I would recommend these. But I do think that I can get a similar look with my Chantecaille gel blushes, or even the NARS liquid blushes are pretty similar to this, and they're gonna be more affordable. So if you're looking to try something out like this, I would probably get the NARS. I prefer more of like the Charlotte Tilbury and the Rare Beauty, and I can be a little bit more, you know, light-handed with those. Yeah, these, they don't give me enough. I feel like they fade really quickly. And then next we have the liquid highlighters, and for whatever reason, these are more expensive. They retail for $54, whereas the blushes are $45. I don't know why that is, friends, because it's basically the same component. And then the formula as well, it's basically the same thing. It's like a light, natural, gel-like formula. I actually like this formula, something more sheer and natural for a highlighter, because I don't need my highlighter to be super pigmented. I want it to be a little bit more like natural and diffused. So I actually really like the formula. The only thing that I don't really like about these, or at least these three shades that they launched with, is that they do have pretty visible glitter particles. They're way too glittery for me. And I like a little bit of sparkle, okay? I like bright highlighters, but I prefer my shimmer to be a little bit more finely milled, you know, like a Chanel luminizer, for example. I don't really like how shimmery these are. There's three different shades. The first one is called Lame, and this is going to be more of like a golden champagne. If you want more of that classic type of color, go with this. If you want something more unique and you do like sparkle, I would go with this one, which is called Frou Frou. It's going to be a beautiful iridescent pink with a little bit of like a lilac shimmer. And then my favorite one, if I had to pick one, would be this one, which is Chi Chi. And this is going to be kind of like a more bronzy-ish rose gold. I really like this one because it's almost like a blush highlighter. You guys know I love glowy skin. So this one would be my pick, but I just wish it was a little bit less glittery. I have to be honest with you. This color is very similar to the Westman Atelier Peau de Pêche, which I also have. So that's the thing, like for $54, I just feel like I could use my Westman Atelier, and I do like the finish of that one a lot better. But if they came out with these, okay, in ones that were a little bit less glittery, I would purchase them. I only have one lip product from Surratt, but it's a good one, okay? This is the Lipslique. These retail for $34, and the shade that I'm demoing for you today is called Au Courant, which is a beautiful, very kind of cassis currant type of shade. Really, really good for the fall and winter. And these are very hydrating, nourishing lipsticks. They're not gonna be like sheer glossy bombs like the YSL Love Shine, for example. These are gonna have a lot more pigment, which I actually like, but they feel so luxurious and beautiful on the lips, and they seriously do keep your lips hydrated even after they wear away. They have some shine, but it's not like a glazed shine like the YSL Candy Glaze, for example. It's just a really beautiful, mature, elegant type of shine. I don't know what else to say other than that these are really good. If you are a fan of this category of makeup, which I know a lot of brands have been launching, these kinds of like moisturizing lipstick, lip treatment, different type of hybrid, and I've tried a lot of them, but I definitely think that this one is one of the best. Okay, I lied. There actually is one more product in this review video that I don't have with me and I can't demo for you, but I have tested this product in the past, so I thought I would add my 2 cents. And it is one of the most popular products from Surratt. It's the Dew Drop Foundation. Now this retails for $75 and there's 20 shades in the line, which isn't too bad, could be better, but it's not too bad. All I want to say is that personally, this foundation didn't work out for me. A lot of people really like this, so I don't want to turn you away from it. But this foundation, it really dried out my skin. It kind of looked really beautiful when it went on the skin. It's a very runny foundation and it gives a really beautiful kind of juicy, hydrated type of effect, but it never really wore very well on my skin. So that's the only reason that I haven't repurchased it to review for you guys, because I just know that I don't really like it. I also don't really like the component. It's called the Dew Drop Foundation. And again, this is really cool. Like, I commend Surratt for bringing something a little bit new to the table, but the way that the component works is that you have to kind of like press this little like squishy button on the back, and then it drops like little drops onto the back of your hand of the foundation. I just always felt like it didn't dispense properly. I would just prefer like a pump bottle or something like that, but that's just me. So a lot of people really like this foundation, but personally, it's not something that I would repurchase, and I just have to be honest. The SOFIASEESQM foundation, however, which is their newer foundation, I do like a little bit better. This is going to be thicker and creamier. Like the Dew Drop, it's more of like a runny formula and kind of like sheared to buildable. This is going to be a little bit richer and creamier in texture. Also, the component for this comes with a little brush at the end, and similarly, you like press this little button and then it comes out the top. Surratt seems to really like these types of components, and on the one hand, I kind of hate it because it's like, I just want to get the product out. But then again, this little brush is really nice. It's really soft. And what I've learned is that the trick to this foundation is to just not really use too much. And I feel like that's kind of what happens when you use the component like this. You can really shear it out, and it usually looks and wears a lot better when you do that, if that makes sense. Like, less is more is what I'm trying to say. I do really like the way that it looks on the skin. I do really like the texture, and I actually do like the little brush, and I've heard great things from my subscribers, but unfortunately, I've done so many wear tests with this foundation, and I still think that it just looks a little bit dry and makeup-y on my skin. I'll show you guys a bunch of close-ups, and what you will see is that, yes, it is creamy, but I feel like as soon as it dries down to a very powdery texture. And it could be that maybe I need to like powder it better. I don't really use setting powder because I have dry skin. I really never need it, even if I'm like sweaty in the heat. Like, I don't get greasy, and so I don't powder my skin. But this dries to a powdery finish, and unfortunately on my skin, it does just look a little bit cakey and makeup-y at the end of the day. I put this on at the beginning of today, and then by the time I sat down this afternoon to film this video, I didn't really like the way that it looked, so I did take it off and I redid my makeup with something else. So I do like this one better. This one would be my pick if you were going to try them out. A lot of people like them, but unfortunately, once again, I have to be honest, this one didn't really work out for me. So I don't have the Dew Drop Foundation with me, but I do have the Dew Drop Concealer. This one retails for $48, and similar to all the other packaging, it has this little sponge tip. And actually, I feel like this works pretty well. I'll just cut to the chase though here. I don't think that Surratt complexion products work well for me. I don't really know why, friends. I just have dry skin and I'm very picky with my foundations. So I feel the same way about this as I do with the Surreal foundation. It just tends to get very powdery and dry, and it does crease on the little fine lines under my eyes, and I don't know, I just feel like it makes me look a little bit older. So unfortunately, this one didn't work out for me as well. The other thing I don't like about this is that there's only 10 shades, and there's like a pretty big jump between the shades. shades. If you're gonna do 20 shades of the foundation, I think you should do like at least 15 shades of the concealer. By the way, I'm not trying to hate on all the complexion products. They just didn't work for me. I did just recently upload on my channel my top 5 luxury foundations of all time, at least at this point. So if you want to hear about some of my favorite foundations that do work for me, I will link that video down below. And then the final complexion product that I have here today, which I actually do like, is the Perfectioniste Concealer Palette. This one retails for $58, but you do get a little 3-in-1 situation. This is such a fun little palette. So you get 2 concealers, and each of them have a slightly different tone. And then you get this very, very finely milled, airy powder that you can use to set different parts of your face. You can kind of, you know, precisely powder just where you need to. And the powder as well, depending on what shade you choose, it's going to be a different tone. So the one that I have is the lilac powder. This is palette number 2. But depending on which one you choose, it might be more of like a yellow tone, for example. You get the picture. Now, the concealers in this palette, they are very thick. Like, this is kind of like a makeup artist-y type of product. This is a very thick and waxy formula. So I personally do not enjoy this for under the eyes, for example. I wouldn't recommend it for that, but I do think it's really nice for covering up little acne spots, little imperfections, maybe a little like broken blood vessel. Maybe you want to, you know, snatch your eyebrows like I was saying before. I like to use this product for that. It's thicker, so it's gonna be more pigmented. It's not gonna move. So if you just take a teeny little brush, you can really cover up that blemish and it's gonna stay put. The powder, like I said, it's so airy, it's so finely milled. I don't really like to put this powder on top of this concealer. I just like, these are very sticky and this is very light. I don't know. I also think that this powder is better for illuminating. So I'll use the concealers for blemishes and everything I just said, and then I'll use the powder for more of like right here in the tear duct region if I want to brighten things up, or maybe just like on the tip of the nose, like anywhere where I want a little bit of setting and a little bit of brightening. Are you still with me? Okay, I have just a couple more products to review for you guys. The next one is the Autographique Liquid Eyeliner. These retail for $44, and these are also really, really good. One of the best eyeliners that I've ever tried. I really like brush tip eyeliners. I love Japanese style eyeliners, so I guess it makes sense that I would like this. I also like the fact that they have several beautiful colors. The one that I have is the brown one, rich brown. That's the one that I have, and I love this for more of like a subtle effect. The brush is just, it's so smooth. Like, I know it's just a brush tip, but they really nailed it. It is absolutely beautiful, just glides across the eye. The only thing is that when you get this, it comes disassembled. Like, it comes with a little cartridge and you have to put the cartridge in here. Maybe I'm dumb, okay, but I had no idea how to do it. I had to look it up. I even gave it to my boyfriend. I was like, babe, how does this go? You really have to like shove it in there. Don't be scared. Like, you really gotta punch it in there and then you just turn it upside down and the pigment will flow through. So that was the only confusing thing. But once I figured that out, it was great. The Impressioniste Brow Pomade. This retails for $35, and this is exactly what it says it is. It is a brow pomade, and it comes with this neat little brush, which is very satisfying when you rake it through your brows. I like the brush, and I like the way that this makes my brows look. The only thing that I don't like about this is that it just doesn't last, at least for my brows. I need something that's more of a gel as opposed to a pomade. This is, yes, it's not gonna be crunchy or anything, but it's gonna be more of like a flexible formula. So you guys can see in the demo, my brows look good, okay? They look snatched, but I kid you not, 3 minutes later, you'll see right here, they started to fall. So unfortunately, this isn't my favorite, but it could just be my brows, okay? If you just want something that's gonna like fluff them up, this might be good. But if you have very stubborn brows that need to stay in place, this wouldn't be my top pick. The Releve Eyelash Curler. This retails for $35, and I'm pretty sure this has won some awards. It is a bestseller. It's a really nice eyelash curler, and I think that's pretty much all I have to say. I will be honest, I don't use eyelash curlers all that often. Sometimes I'll use them if I want to get a little bit of extra lift at the base of the lashes, but my lashes already have a bit of a natural curl to them. So I don't think I'm the best person to be reviewing this. That being said, I've used a lot of eyelash curlers. I think this one is great. It gets the job done. I think this is surgical grade steel. It's like very durable. It's beautiful. It doesn't pinch my lashes or give me like that, bent effect. It doesn't pinch at my eyelids. It's a great eyelash curler. Woo! And that is it, my friends. Those are all my completely honest thoughts about all the products that I have tested thus far from Surratt. If you like this video, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. And even more importantly, comment down below. Let me know what you think of Surratt. Let me know what you think of these products, because your opinion is worth just as much as mine. Let's help each other out in the comments section. Also, let me know, which brand review do you want me to do next? I will be linking my playlist down below of all my other brand reviews. We have Victoria Beckham Beauty, RMS, just to name a few. Definitely check those out if you like this style of video. I'll be linking all the products that I mentioned, the shades that I demoed, in that description box down below, along with my coupon code SOFIA15, where you can save 15% off. Subscribe if you haven't already. And with that, friends, I hope that you see some beauty in your day, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.